Greetings everyone and welcome to Timsy's Naked Tarots. Don't worry, Timsy is not naked. The tarots are naked, but I'm not doing a tarot read today. I'm doing my signs on Sunday. Extremely late, I know, but I've been tied up with my kids this weekend and, having fun and enjoying my time with them. So I've now got an hour or so to myself without them while they're off swimming. So it's time for Timsy's Naked Tarot's Signs on Sundays. Or should I start calling it Signs and Dreams on Sundays or Dreams and Signs on Sundays? Because I talk a lot about dreams as well during these. Today we are doing we're doing Eagle for E, even. Okay, I again had a little Google, put in the spiritual meaning of E, and the top thing what came up from that was eagle. So the populace of the world seems to be Googling the spiritual meanings of eagles at the moment, which is fine, that's fair enough. So we will dive a little deeper into eagles. So where do we start with this? Okay, so eagles, they're a bird of prey. They are one of the largest birds of prey you can get in the world. I think at one point they did have the actual largest species of bird in the world, but they died out, unfortunately, not long after European man found New Zealand. There's something to be said there, isn't there? Because dodos died out not long after that as well. But okay, anyway, apart from digging at humanity in the history and their brilliant capability of wiping out species of animals, let's dive a little deeper into eagles. Okay, so eagles, they inspire inspiration. Basically, they're a majestic bird. They are big, and you wonder sometimes how they actually fly. Well, they fly the same way every other bird flies, but they fly quite high. They look down from up above and they find their prey and they circle their prey, and then they dive from sometimes thousands of feet onto their prey, and their prey is still there when they get there, which will give us foresight. So we've now got two aspects to look at for eagles. We got inspiration. Possibly if you are seeing signs of eagles, and remember, your signs of eagles could come in any way, shape or form. You could physically see an eagle somewhere. You could possibly just see eagle written somewhere. You might turn the radios on and the eagles are playing a song. You might overhear a conversation and someone is saying eagles in the conversation. However you get your sign, you got to put it into the content of what you were thinking of, what was going on in your life and things at the time, to understand why you're getting a message of an eagle from spirit. Now, as I said, we've got inspiration. Now, getting your sign of eagle could be inspiring you to finish something. Maybe something you thought was impossible to finish, maybe something you've been finding very hard. It's an indication from the universe that it's not that hard. Okay, it might be that hard. This is part of the thing you have to learn. But just be inspired. We're inspiring you to do it. We're backing you all the way. The foresight, the planning, the looking from things from a different perspective, high up, bird's eye view, we've all heard that saying, is looking at things from the greater perspective. But in an eagle's case, and in most other birds of prey's case, is also focusing on the goal, the ultimate prize, the prey on the floor in an eagle's case. So yes, it might be able to see miles around while it's flying up there, but it also sees that tiny bit of movement as a rabbit hops through a hedge or a long bit of grass, and then it focuses in on that, and then it dives down onto it. Okay, so there are two aspects. The other aspects of eagles in signages can be freedom and independence. The Americans adopt this. They have the bald-headed eagle on their sigils and things, and eagles do appear on many sigils throughout history. It's associated with German sigils as well, but that's digression a little bit. So, and one of the things that the Americans kind of embrace is independence. They fought for their independence against us, and they are fiercely proud of their independence, and they even have a whole day where they celebrate their independence. So there is another one. I should get some powder on my nose shouldn't I, to stop that from shining? I see it. I see it when I'm talking to you on the camera, and it's distracting, to say the least. Okay, and again, the other thing the Americans celebrate quite a lot is the freedom to be democratic, the freedom to do what they want, the freedom to bear arms. Okay, not every country in the world is that liberal. We're not allowed to. Us in England, we have to have licenses to bear arms, and it's only for hunting and things like that. Okay. I crammed a lot of information in my notes, and normally I have quite big spread out bits, but I found quite a lot on eagles, so I tried to cram even more in. Unfortunately, now I've just got this one mass of writing, and I don't know whereabouts I am within it every time I diverge off onto various other things. Yeah, another thing about eagles is they're powerful. When I first saw eagles was the thing on Google, the first two things what sprung to my head was power and freedom. They fly freely through the air. They don't really have any predator other than man while they're in the air, and then it's quite hard for us to do it. But on land, yeah, okay, they have some predators, but they have power, they have grace, and they have freedom. Were the first things I thought, and it was quite nice when I actually started to deep dive into eagles that I found that independence, freedom, power, and grace are some of the things that are associated with signs from eagles. Some of the other things is guidance, truth and honor, loyalty and devotion as well. So let me see if I can find where I was in my notes. I might just skip a few, maybe come back to others later. So I'm going to start working backwards through my notes. In the Navajo, the Native Americans, they believed that eagle feathers was a sign of honor, having a sign of honor. And before they were allowed to actually carry the eagle feathers, so they needed to get these blessed by a medicine man. Okay. In Celtic beliefs, they were believed to be signifiers of significant events coming, maybe like a birth of a new hero. Obviously, you don't know you're having a new hero being born at the time unless you saw the eagle, or you saw the eagle when the person was being born, and then they went on to great things, and that is how it's associated. Obviously, we don't know exactly what the Celts thought. We know more about the Navajo because they are still around, but the Celts as a culture is not. So it's what we piece together through history. Now, they may have actually thought the eagles were a nasty part of carrion birds, which does actually bring us on to other things about eagles as well, because the Celts also believed they were one of the oldest creatures in the world. The only other older one to mention is a salmon, and they were very wise and very intelligent. Eagles were seen to be by the Celts. As I said, if you saw an eagle, possibly that was an indication of a great hero being born. If you saw a singular eagle, perched on an outcrop of rocks, a crag or a tree branch or something like that, it could be, they believed, an indication that the enemy is now coming. Yeah, so you'll be thrust into war soon. And if you saw two eagles, it was a signification of peace. Okay, and I believe that this could possibly lend itself to the magpie song. Now, I don't know if you know what I'm going on about when I talk about the magpie song. It's one for sorrow, two for joy. Okay, well, obviously, if you see one eagle and the enemy are coming, well, there's going to be a battle. There's going to be sorrow. Okay, and if you see two eagles and it's going to be peace, well, that's joy. Okay, so they possibly lent those two meanings to the beginning of the song, and it weren't a magpie. Perhaps it's lots of different birds from different areas which mean different things, and they created them all into one song and then turned it into just one bird, a magpie. Okay, but when you think about what an eagle is, it's a meat-eating bird. It will prey on rabbits, deers, small dogs to a certain extent, little cats, things like that. But it's not above. And yes, we might have said it's proud and there's loyalty and there's independence and freedom from it. It's also quite modest. Okay. If it sees something laying there dead and it can't see any threat around it, it will quite happily fly down and eat it. Okay. As long as it's a fresh kill, not too rotten. It will, yeah. So it may have been possibly seen around battlefields. And this is where you get the singular eagle is a harbinger of enemies coming. It's a harbinger of war and death in some religions and or some beliefs. I know it's in my notes somewhere. Oh, I've just found it. Yeah, it's the Vikings. The Vikings used to associate eagles with war, fighting, and death. Now, this could possibly be because they always saw eagles on battlefields after battles. Okay. Getting back to the magpie song. If you know the magpie song, feel free to drop your version of the magpie song in the comments. Obviously, I will start it off. It's 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy. Okay. I have seen renditions of it going all the way up to about 20. Okay. So fill in what your local sayings are for the magpie song, if you know what I'm going on about. Okay. We've got the 1 to 4. If your 1 to 4 is different, again, drop it in the comments. Let me know. It'll be great. Okay. Okay. So I've just covered the Vikings. I've just covered the Celts. So the other aspects of eagles is they have been very popular throughout history for sigils, coat of arms, banners and flags and things. As I've mentioned, the Americans have the bald-headed eagle. The Germans, I believe, was a golden eagle, and so were the Romans, and they had golden eagles as well for their symbols. It can be seen as a symbol of royalty and nobility. Being tending to be one of the biggest birds up in the sky, it's a predatory bird. It doesn't have any enemies in the sky as such, other than maybe itself. Then, yeah, it is royalty. It's royalty of the sky. It is nobility of the sky. The whole eagle species, because they come in various different shapes and forms, are the nobility in the sky. And so it would make sense that kings and queens of various different times would use the sigil of an eagle as a sign of royalty. Other signs of royalties, just throwing it out there quickly, is the swan, the unicorn, and there's another one. It's a crowned lion, I think. Now, in certain cultures, you are not allowed to use these symbols unless you are royalty of some description. For example, in England, I've been led to believe that only the ruling monarch's family is allowed to use a unicorn on their coat of arms. And if they, for any reason, become the unruling family, or, I don't know, a son gets ejected for whatever reasons, they have to then remove that sigil from their coat of arms. And so that is one belief I have heard. But that's about unicorns, and we're not dealing with unicorns, we're dealing with eagles. But this could be the same thing there. You may be forced to take your eagle off your coat of arms, if you have a coat of arms, if you're that good, if you're that well connected, have that pure bloodline. Don't even get me going on that. Then you may have to remove your eagle from it because you are no longer in the royal line of succession or something like that. Thus, you are not allowed to have your eagle anymore. The Romans used to fiercely defend their eagle. If they lost their eagle, entire units and battalions would go back to get it back. Even if they know it's certain death, they would try. And they've actually made films on this. The other thing about an eagle, which is I think is a little bit not so known, is I read somewhere it was once the animal for Scorpio. Okay, the star sign of Scorpio was once an eagle before it got changed to the scorpion. And so when you also think of an eagle, it could be indicating it's someone who's a Scorpio for example, because the universe is all the time, is all there, all in one little moment. Okay, so to the universe, well, a Scorpion is a star sign, and so's the eagle, and it's the universe don't really understand star signs. It's just a concept made by man, but it can understand the qualities will come from those animals, and it can put it to people, yeah, or energy sources, because that's all we are to the universe as well. We're not actually people. We're just a ball of energy emitting waves, just like everything else in the universe. To the universe, it's just balls of energy emitting waves, okay, on various different frequencies, and that's what it understands. That and maths. And so, yeah, you could be like an eagle, a scorpion, or a Scorpio. Now, the other thing is possibly your signs are indicating a person. Okay. Now, as we've said, nobility have eagles as their sigils sometimes. Eagles are, as I said, proud. They are free. They are independent. They are powerful. Sometimes they are flying high up in the sky. Now, possibly when you get your sign and synchronicity about an eagle, or with using an eagle, it could be implying a person who has those qualities about them. So it might not be implying something which is proud, or which is devoted, or which is powerful. It might be describing all the qualities of that particular person. Maybe the person you were thinking about when you saw, heard, or noticed the eagle sign. As I said at the beginning, yeah, remember your signs are unique and personal and independent to you. They don't mean the same thing to the same person. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but some people might just hear the Eagles on the radio and that's all they hear, the Eagles singing their song. Now, you might hear the Eagles on the radio and the lyrics within that song may be poignant to you for some reason and may make you feel like you are experiencing something you didn't realize you were experiencing. And there is your sign, and it's come from the Eagles. With other things like that, like the person, you may be thinking of a person at the time, and again, you may just see you may drive past a lorry or a van that has eagle written on the side, or has a motif of a golden eagle on the back of it. Maybe you see a Trans Am that has an eagle on the front of it. Maybe, I don't know how your sign will come to you, but we all see the signs, and again, you have to be aware and notice them. If you don't, yeah, the universe is putting them out there for us all to notice. It's our free will, it's our ego which allows us to see and notice these things or not. And so that being said, I'm wrapping this one up for you here. It's about 20 minutes long, so that ain't so bad. It's not too long, it's not too short, which is good. I would just like to mention, feel free to drop in the comments anything you would like me to look into for signs, synchronicities, dreams, or whatever. And also feel free to just drop in any comment you like. This will be going out as a premiere, as always, admittedly not the normal time. I will try to get back to that next week for us, so that's not a problem, unless of course this time suits you. And again, drop that in the comments and let me know. This whole series is for you, the viewers. Okay, I got various different signs for various different things over various different time periods. I've looked into it. I find it really hard to find the meanings of signs. I don't like reading. Okay, I rephrase it. I love reading. I love reading when I've got the time to sit down and read. I don't like reading for research. I don't like studying. It's more to the point. So what I like to do is find a YouTube video, whack the YouTube video on, stick my earbud in, and I'll just wander around listening to what they are saying. And that's the whole reason I started doing this little sequence on signs. So people like you can think, oh, I've just seen an eagle. Oh, let's look on YouTube for the sign, eagle signs, or something like that, and up pops my video, and then you can listen to it in your leisure, or while you were doing other things, doing the washing up, cleaning the house, whatever you may be doing while you're listening to your eagle sign video. So do contribute to these videos, do comment to them, because it will help me in the long run. Find out what you want to find out, okay? And generally speaking, my YouTube videos on my YouTube channel is all about you, the viewer. It's not about me. I don't gain anything from this. I don't get any ad revenue. I don't get much in the way of donations or personal tarot reads, which I will just put out there on this video as well. I will do personal tarot reads. You have to contact me. I'm not going to chase you for them. I'll leave it at that. If you find anyone else who is representing themselves as a me, representing themselves, I'm not sure that's a real word, but as me, then it's not me, okay? I don't put it out in messages that I do tarot reads. I don't put out how much I charge or anything like that. So I put an email out. If you want a tarot read, go to this email. That's what I put out. So feel free, drop me an email. It's sii78@aol.com, and that will get you an email to me, and then we can discuss things further from there. I'd just like to say a quick thank you to anyone who has subscribed to my channel. There has been a lot of them over the past month or so. Thank you very much. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I should carry on doing these readings and these videos and things, because clearly you are enjoying them. Thank you for anyone who's liked my videos, because again, it tells me you're actually enjoying the content I'm putting out there. And thank you for commenting, because again, it's another way, which is a little bit deeper actually, because you've taken the time to write a comment, okay? Which means you've enjoyed it a little bit more. So thank you very much. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Until next week, when I do signs on Sunday, which will be F. I'm not sure what it will be yet. I'll check out the comments, check out Google a couple of days before I do the video, do my research, and then we go from there. Okay, so all have a wonderful week, and see you all soon.